All right, we're going to talk about comparing key features again, and this time we're going to talk about y-intercepts, and it's you're comparing this equation of a line to this graph, and you're asked which has the smaller, and we're just going to say, I'm changing the question up here, smaller y-intercept. So again, I'm going to put that equation into Desmos, and I put that in exactly like it looks like. And I come up with the graph that is shown. So I'm looking for the y-intercept, and on Desmos I just click there and it gives me my y-intercept of 0, -4. So I'm going to compare that with, as soon as I get the right app open here, I'm going to compare that with this. So this slope is, this y-intercept is 0, -4, sorry. 0, -4. This is -4. So these two, the y values are -4. So your answer would be that they are the same. Boy, I'm having trouble spelling here today. So they are the same. Their y values are the same. So if you're comparing that, that's what you would get. But what if it says, I want you to compare not the y value, but the n behavior? And remember, the n behavior is what it's doing on the left side and the right side. So n behavior here, as x is going to -infinity, or x is getting smaller, your y values are heading down, so they're going to -infinity. X's are getting larger, heading towards infinity, your x-axis. Then your y values in this case are heading in positive infinity as well. So let me look at my Desmos equation again. Okay, on this one, I can see the far left, it has going down. If you can see, it's going to go slower and lower. And the far right, it's going to go up and up and up, just like the other graph does. So your answer, if it was n behavior, is the n behaviors are the same as well. Let's look at another one. If I'm looking at this value here, and I'm going to write down these table values so I can plug them in really quick. And I want to, let's do both. Let's do the y values and the y-intercept, and then also the n behavior. I'm comparing those. So my graph here is already graphed, so I'm going to go ahead and put this table into Desmos. So remember to do that when you open up Desmos. I'm going to hit this plus sign and select table, and I'm just going to go down and do my x's first. I'll come back and do my y values. It's easier for me to input this way on the iPad. Oops, it helps if I keep doing. -2, -1. Okay, and then over here, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1. Okay, so I want to see what this graph is, so I'm going to mouse over there, turn my line on, and I can see my line. Now remember, on this graph, it's going to go on forever. This is just a piece of it right here because I just plotted points. But this would be a line that goes on forever and ever. So let me just take a quick picture of that, and I'll add it to our other view right over here so we can get a side-by-side. 1 second, let me put this over here. And then let me add that other picture real quick. All right, so that gives me a picture I can look right next to it. So I've got this graph here. I'm comparing this one. So looking for the y-intercept first. This y-intercept is -1. This y-intercept is 2. So if you're comparing the y-intercepts here, you would say that g of x has a greater y-intercept, then I believe this is f of x. So that's a comparison. What if I were doing the end behavior? Okay, I've got my picture of my graph over here. And again, remember that you are going, we're going to pretend that this one on the right is a line. So whenever we talk about the left side, that's x approaches negative infinity. This particular case, it's going to continue upward. So your y values are f of x, or g of x in this case, is approaching infinity. It's going up. On this side, x is approaching infinity, or the right side of the equation, and this g of x is approaching negative infinity. So that's what this graph is doing. The graph that's given to me, x left side, negative infinity. Your left side is negative infinity for your y as well. The right side, x approaches infinity. I'm also going negative infinity. So if you were comparing these two, both the left sides, so let's look at the left sides here. The left side of, and we'll call this f of x, the left side of f of x, f of x is going to negative infinity. The left side of g of x is going to positive infinity. That's a comparison. Now, the right side of f of x, the right side is also, it's going to negative infinity still. And what about the right side over here? The right side, well, that's going to negative infinity as well, of g of x. So you would say that those two end behaviors on the right side are the same. So I know this color coding and listening to me, but I'm trying to get you to see how to compare two different graphs and using different questions, and that you can use the tools available for you to answer those. Just take the time to use them. I hope this made sense to you and was helpful.